The hospitality industry can be a potential minefield for injuries. The most common forms of injury are things like ankle sprains, and you get wrist sprains, you get back injuries or shoulder injuries from people lifting up cartons too high. Some people suffer from things like allergic reactions to some of the chemicals used. We also get burns. We've had some very nasty injuries with hot fat. There's also a lot of cuts, obviously, from the kitchen areas. There can be slips, trips and falls, and because some areas work till 2, 3, 4 in the morning, then you can add fatigue on top of that as well. When you talk about slips, trips and falls, it can sound so trivial, but the consequences can be enormous.
So when I got up that morning knowing that I'd only had to go to work for half an hour, I thought, fantastic, I'll get in there, get everything organised, get home, enjoy the day. I remember going in and everything was going so fine, and then complaints started to happen, and then everything just went wrong. The person who was supposed to do the beer lines went to do another job. So I thought, okay, I'll go and check it myself. Outside the cold room, there's usually a little rubber mat because there's always water seepage coming out from the cold room. So that little rubber mat on that day was actually turned up at both ends. Me running around, rushing around, trying to make sure that everyone was happy to strip on the rubber mat. I was falling inside the cold room where the keg was. The first thing you do is trying to grab something so you don't hit the deck. I grabbed hold of the keg that was full of alkaline and also still full of gas. One hand went on the keg, the other hand went on the beer plunger, which is on the keg. Then when you do push that plunger down, it releases whatever's in that keg. Then the alkaline proceeded, still full of gas, coming out of the keg, and just proceeded to go straight into both eyes, which instantly just sent me totally blind.
So I remember we were waiting to go into the hospital, into his room, and Mum just warned us, just said,
Dad really wanted to see you because unfortunately it might be the last time I might be able to see you, because his eyesight, he's had an accident at work, and over the next few days he might lose it completely.
Gavan and his family have had to accept a lot of changes in their lives. From being fully sighted and the breadwinner for the family, overnight, in a few seconds, he's changed to being dependent, not able to earn a living, losing his self-respect.
If the right preventions had been used, I wouldn't be sitting here like this now.
In the case of Gavan's injury, there was a number of contributing factors. There was water on the floor, the mat was not in a good state of repair, it had sides curled up, Gavan was rushing at the time. They're the sort of things that build up and they make the opportunity for an injury, and unfortunately for Gavan, that was the ultimate result.
If I'd have taken it a few minutes longer just to make sure safety was there, to make sure everything was right, I mightn't be in this position.
Think about what it is you do, and don't put yourself at risk just to get something there 5 seconds faster than it would have been.
It is just so important that safety is taken as number one. Not as just something that you want to talk about after the incident happens. You make sure that's in place before anything starts.
The employers can take a number of ways to reduce injuries in the workplace. The employer needs to put in systems of work. They need to oversee that the staff are following those systems of work. The main thing is to communicate with their staff to identify the risks. If you haven't identified them at the start, then you can't manage them. And employers can take precautions as well. They can ensure that they've been provided with the information they need to do their job. They need to follow their procedures and make sure that they wear the PPE that's provided for them. And they need to comply with the safety instructions. And they also need not to put any of their other workers at risk. If they see something that's unsafe, that they need to let their employer know about it.
And if you haven't done it right, it's going to affect not only you, it's going to affect your family and your friends.